Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Sunday, November 30th, 2014, around 5:12 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. It was a overcast day in the morning, but in the afternoon the sun broke out and got close to 50, and the snow is gradually melting, but it's making a big mud pile. And more melting of the snow tomorrow before it goes cold again, and warm it back up again and go cold and warm it back up for the foreseeable future. Some news to report. The San Antonio Spurs beat the Boston Celtics today at the TD Garden by the score of 111-89. This was a blowout by the Spurs. And also the UMass Lowell Riverhawks men's basketball team beat BU by the score of 69-59 today. The UMass Lowell Riverhawks improved to 5-2 in the young season. They're doing pretty good for a team this is their second year in Division I basketball. They're not eligible for the playoffs until 2017-2018 because of the transition to Division I. But they look pretty good as a basketball team. Very great. It's going to probably be a tough out for them, for any team in the American East Conference playing them this year. And that's about it on that. My next subject is the classic TV game show Trivia Trap. Trivia Trap had a 6-month run on ABC from November 8th, 1984 to April 5th, 1985. It was hosted by Bob Eubanks, and it was produced by Mark Goodson Productions. And this was the last original game show idea that Mark Goodson produced. The rest of his game shows he produced before his death in 1992 were revivals of classic game shows he already produced in the past as well. The announcers for this were Gene Wood for the first couple of weeks, and Charlie O'Donnell for 2 weeks, and then Bob Hilton announced it through the remainder of its run. And Trivia Trap was to capitalize on Trivia Pursuit that came out in a few years earlier, in 1983 or so. Mark Goodson wanted to make a game show out of trivia and stuff. And they had two teams of 3 contestants. Juniors, who were blue sweaters, were under 30 years of age, and the seniors, they wore red sweaters, they were over 30 years of age. And Bob Eubanks, who hosts, wore a lot of nice sweaters on this. And the first 2 rounds of Trivia Trap from October of 1984 through mid-December of 1984 had like a round of like two rows of 4 questions, and the team in control picked which row of questions they wanted to answer. And this was how it was played. The contestants picked which of the 4 questions were wrong. There were 3 of them were wrong, 1 of them was right. And if they picked the wrong one, they get $50 for each one picked wrong, and they get $300 if they got all 3 of the questions they picked wrong. But if they picked the right answer out of the questions, they would lose, and the money they accumulated, they couldn't go for the $300. They played 2 rounds. Each team played 2 series of these questions for the first 2 rounds, and in total they could accumulate up to $600 each if they got picked all 3 of the wrong questions and right. And a lot of people were watching this and saying that Trivia Trap had that was their flaw, for like a format flaw, that the right answer being the wrong one was not good. So Mark Goodson did a study for a research group, and he said that was the flaw of Trivia Trap. So in mid-December they had to change the first 2 rounds. The first round was a fact or fiction round where the teams would get a package of 2 questions. They were all true and false ones, and they would be $25 each if they got it right and stuff like that. And they played 2 packets of that. And the second round for this, the updated one for Trivia Trap, was the Trivia Trap round, which was basically they had played the same, but they had the 3 right answers and wrong answers. The wrong answers got them in a trap. If they picked all three of the right answers, they would win up to $300. And then the final round of the game was the $1,000 trivia race. And the team that was ahead would first pitch the question, and all of these categories were general knowledge trivia, could be anything. And the team had 3 guesses to get it. The first one, if they got it right, they would get $100. But if they got it wrong, and then the second one, how did they get it right? If they got it right, they were still in it. But if they got that wrong, if the third person on their team got it right, they saved the team. But if the third person got it wrong for their team, they lost control to the other team. And this was played until somebody reached $1,000. If they reached the 10th question of each of the $1,000 trivia race, the thing was doubled to $200 and stuff like that. Whoever got $1,000 or more won the game, and they went to the bonus round, which was the $10,000 trivia ladder, where the winning teams played against one another, and they were all divided into 1, 2, 3. The player who did great in the trivia race round got the most questions right, was in the number 1 position. The second one was in the number 2 position, and the third one was in the number 3 position. And they showed like a row of questions of 4 possible answers. One was right, and the one who had the most, who did good in the trivia race round, could answer the question or pass it down to the second one. If they pass it down to the second one, they had the option of passing it to the third one or answering themselves. All 3 of them did. The first 2 had the chance to answer themselves. If they got to answer it and they got it right, they won $1,000, and they would go for the possible $10,000. But if they got it wrong, they were eliminated from the $10,000. And then they would do this thing for 3 times, and afterwards they would go to the $10,000 question, and it had 4 possible answers, and whoever was survived, if it was 1, 2, or 3, they would have to pick the right answer for the question that Bob Eubanks wrote. All 3 could have picked one right one could pick 2 of them, or all 3 of them could pick 3 different ones. If they picked which one they picked, if it was right, it was $10,000, but if all 3 of them picked the right answer, they would split all $10,000 and stuff 3 ways. And teams would play until they reached 5 games, and they would be retired as champions no matter if they won the $10,000 or not. Trivia Trap was a pretty good game show, but it was in a time slot at 11 a.m. on ABC. They faced off against the first half of The Price is Right on CBS and Wheel of Fortune on NBC, and that doomed them from the start and stuff. And plus, when they had that format flaw the first 2 months, that was not great as well. And it's sad because Trivia Trap had potential to be one of the great game shows that Mark Goodson produced in a long time, but when they had the format flaw and they were facing off against 2 established game shows that were really doomed from the start. And I heard something like in 1987 they were thinking about reviving Trivia Trap with Fred Travellini as host and stuff like that, but I heard something they couldn't get enough, there was not enough interest for that and stuff. And reruns of Trivia Trap were seen on the Game Show Network for many years, when they first started from 1994 to 1997, and then again in 2003, and then again in 2007 through 2008 in the late night time period and stuff like that. So that's about it on Trivia Trap. I'll be back later. Facebook friends and YouTube followers for my 3rd and final video blog of the night, which will be about former NFL quarterback of the New York Giants, Phil Simms, and he's the current number 1 color man on the NFL and CBS broadcast. See you later, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.